A very warm welcome to all of you joining us today from all corners of the world. Welcome back to Global Youth Mobilization's virtual celebration events and to our side event, the Youth Led Solution Showcase. I hope you follow us and share your comments on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And do reach out on GYM Mobilization and use Unstoppable Together or hashtag Youth Mobilize to share your updates and feedback. This is your side event, and I'm your host for the event. My name is Shagun Sharma. Hailing from India, I lead youth engagement at Restless Development's India Hub, and I've had the pleasure to serve as a youth panelist for GYM for both local solutions and the accelerator program. And so I'm completely thrilled to be moderating this event today. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed our main virtual event and left it feeling as we did, with the strength and belief that young people are indeed unstoppable together. During the main event, you heard from projects delivering youth led solutions across our four main thematic areas. However, in this side event, we will be taking a deep dive in one of those themes, one that has been the founding cause of GYM: education disruption and employability. In this particular event, we will hear from three innovative and inspiring projects from across GYM's three core programs. What are they? The national projects, local solutions, and the accelerator program. Today, we have with us Book Garage, a local solutions project, and so an accelerator program project, the Czechoslovakian Dofi Online Academy, a national project under the Duke of Edinburgh's award. We're also incredibly lucky and honored to have a leading expert on the topic with us today, who will share valuable reflections with the projects and also take their questions while they present their showcase. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Aditi Arora. She is the Country Director India for Girl Up with UN Foundations. She is a proud recipient of the Forbes Asia 30 Under 30 class of 2022 and is a two-time TEDx speaker. Aditi, we are honored to have you with us today. And without further ado, let us begin the event. I bring to you our first project showcase, Book Garage. Shaira, I would like you to introduce yourself, lead us into your showcase, and also pose the question that you have for Aditi.
Thank you so much, Shagun. Hello, everyone. I'm Shara Lomauthui. I'm an 18-year-old young girl from Bangladesh who wants to make a positive impact on society. And today I'm here with our project Book Garage, which is a street library project giving children free access to books. Reading plays a crucial role in children's overall development. It's a highly immersive experience which makes the mind come alive through imagination and creativity. However, sadly, our Bangladeshi community hasn't yet established any reader-friendly environment. Moreover, our underprivileged children barely get any opportunity to develop their reading habits as they can't afford to buy new books to read aside from their regular school curriculum. Also, many children drop out of school maybe because of the financial crisis or maybe because their parents send them to work. But sometimes we keep lots of books in our home corner just for nothing. That's why during COVID-19 pandemic, we launched a street library project called Book Garage, which opened its doors on June 2021. The initiative was founded on a simple principle: leave your old book behind so that those who don't have the means can discover a new book for free. We really hope to install a street library in every single road in Bangladesh so that every child, despite having different age, gender, religion, and sexuality, will be able to read books and will be able to learn to respect diversity, others' perspective, empathy, and also no book will stay unread. As a part of this vision, we have installed 19 street libraries named Book Garage in four different regions having 1900 books. We painted all the roadsides with pictures and doodles so that the children can feel inspired to read books. Approximately 3,500 children have accessed books from our street libraries till now. Not only children, but also everyone can borrow books from our street libraries if they want to. We have more than 50 young volunteers who are working hard on this project who believe that age is not a matter of fact to make a difference, but intention matters. We designate our volunteers as coordinators in their respective areas so that they could monitor our street libraries regularly and can fill them with books if needed. People donate books there regularly, so barely we need to refill them. So the project is sustainable by itself. Also, it has a lot to offer to corporate companies for branding to generate revenue. So we can say it's an example of creating hope in a cynical world where everybody is empathetic and has love for each other. Thank you very much. Okay, so time for my question. So, as we all know, Aditi ma'am, you have been doing some extraordinary work regarding girls' education for a long time. We also know some of the main reasons why lots of girls are out of school. Maybe because of discrimination, gender based violence, child marriage, early pregnancy, child labor, and also underfunding. But we are also concerned about the global learning crisis that nearly two-thirds of 10-year-olds are estimated to be unable to read and understand a simple text, and thus they lose interest to go to school at their advanced grades because of that crisis. So, according to you, ma'am, what could be the main reasons behind the disruption in girls' education? And as a local solution, we intend to establish Book Garage, a street library to give children free access to books to read. So, do you think it can lead to fewer dropouts and can also be helpful to them in the future regarding job employment?
Thank you so much for that, Shaira. Firstly, congratulations to you and the entire team of the Book Garage. I think the work that you're doing is truly phenomenal and it's so relevant for this time. We all know that schools were shut down during the pandemic, not just in Bangladesh, but across the world. And it's being estimated that more than 11 million girls will never return to school, threatening the decades of progress made towards gender equality and the 2030 education agenda. This is also putting girls around the world at risk of adolescent pregnancy. There's early and forced marriage, there's violence, and there's child labor. So with the project, you're creating space and opportunity for children to continue reading at home, which is more important than ever now to prevent learning loss. The Book Garage is helping instill a love of reading in children, giving them perhaps a productive way to spend their time, helping them enhance their knowledge, also encouraging their passion for learning. And I love that you have volunteers monitoring the libraries and that there is a process in place for regular influx of books, making the project sustainable, as you mentioned. The problem you are solving for is access. But how can we together make the act of reading pleasurable? You have painted the walls and you've added graffiti, which adds to the appeal of the library. But I would also suggest perhaps working with parents, working with, say, community members, working with local institutions to create an ecosystem which is conducive for learning. And I say this especially for girls. Having access to books is one thing. Having the support system for them to make time to read is another. Children who have dropped out of school may have an interest in reading, but they may need support. So maybe Book Garage can fill that gap. And I see so much scope and I see so much potential for upscaling here. The garage could also become a safe space for children to engage in, say, discussions about the books they've read, what they've learned, what do they want to do next. And in order to get more people to engage in reading, your volunteers can organize storytelling sessions, they can organize skits or form drama clubs with the members of the local community. This will inculcate reading habits, this will inculcate social values, empathy among the disinterested readers. I would also think a little more about the placement of these book garages. Is it accessible to people with disabilities? At what height are these shelves being placed? Is it in a well-lit, busy area for girls to also access it? Just for example, there are many mobile and village libraries that have been set up in India as well. And they've been put up in waiting rooms of government offices and in hospitals. And what they've done is that they use refurbished, discarded fridges. So they reduce their cost of, say, setting up the shelves as well. But all in all, I love your vision of having a book garage in every street of Bangladesh, and more power to you. I truly believe that the work that you're doing is exceptional, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Ati, for your insights. And from my own experience with communities, I do agree when you say that we have to create support system for engagement of parents and community members, because we need to also look at how girls can find time to read the books we are making accessible to them. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Next up, we have Joyce. Joyce, please introduce yourself, showcase your project achievements, and also share any questions you have for Aditi.
Hello, everyone, and I'm so excited to be on this side event I'm so excited to be here with everyone. My name is Joyce Wanachi, and I'm a 24-year-old from Nigeria, and I lead the Insoni team. The Insoni team is an organization, a social impact organization, and a women in tech community, and we are working to bridge the tech gender gap for women and girls across Africa. So there already exists like a tech gender gap for women and girls globally. But in African societies where you have so many irregularities, so at this point, we are trying to bridge this gap, and I'm so excited to be here with you all.
The Insoni project was born out of the need to bridge the tech gender gap for women and girls across Africa. Now, during the COVID period and the post-COVID period, the world saw a shift to a technologically driven world, to a more technologically driven world. What this meant that there was a gap to be filled with human resources, with people that had the skills to actually participate and partake in that drive. Now, many women and girls across Africa were excluded from that process because of lack of skills, lack of mentorship, the lack of opportunities, and the societal perception that such fields were not something that women should explore. And this was why the Insoni project sprung up. Our approach is a three-way model. So we train, we mentor, and we build a community around participants. So our training model is a cohort-based system of upskilling programs that train them in high-end skills that are relevant to the tech industry, to give them a leeway to start or begin their journey in that industry. We also do one-on-one. We also did and do one-on-one mentorships to help inspire their growth and to help sustainability within the industry. And more importantly is the community model. The community model is dear to our hearts because right now we have about 1,300 community members. And what we do is that we encourage peer-to-peer learning to ensure accountability and to ensure that there is consistent growth of participants that took part and that take part within our programs. Now, our numbers, so far, we have trained about 150 women and girls in high-end technical skills, like I mentioned before. We also have a thriving community. When this slide was prepared, we were about 1,000, but as of today, we're about 1,300 community members across all our channels. We've also successfully engaged about 20 plus mentors and facilitators through our programs. And we've had social impression of over 20,000. This is there because it means that our work is being recognized and that many more people are coming to light to see that there are opportunities really within the tech industry for women and girls. Our biggest learning, because the projects and the implementation didn't come without challenges, one of our biggest learnings on an organizational level was that planning was key to everything. So we needed to plan properly. We needed to see that whatever we did, we approached with a level of excellence, right? And the training from the accelerator program actually helped build that. Also, for the impact or for the participants, we did a needs assessment during one of the implementations, and we found that there was really a gap to be filled to ensure that more women and girls were availed opportunity within the tech industry. So we are hoping that more programs like ours would spring up and that we would continue with the work that we are currently doing. Finally, we are indeed grateful to the Global Mobilization Fund, first of all, for the opportunity they have availed us. We are also thankful to the implementing partners who took us on and helped us see that we implemented and successfully completed the project. We are grateful to the facilitators and everyone who made this a success. So at Insone, we are hoping that one woman and girl at a time, we encourage the complete inclusion and participation of women and girls across the tech industry. Thank you so much.
In a world moving towards being technologically driven, what are your thoughts impact of our project? And what areas do you think we could improve upon to ensure that in a few years' time, we reach as many women and girls as possible, especially across Africa, and further bridge the tech gender gap we have identified? Thank you.
Firstly, congratulations, Joyce, to you and your team. You've been so thoughtful about the name of your project, reflective of the heart of your work. Your three-pronged approach, focusing on community, focusing on mentorship, and upskilling will surely address the issues of gender gap in tech in particular, and STEM at large, through industry exposure, by inspiring them through women role models, and by closing the skill gap. We know the power and transformational potential of the internet access and use is not equally distributed. Of the estimated 2.7 billion people currently unconnected, the majority are women and girls. The digital gender gap continues to expand in many developing countries, creating a very specific need to support digital gender equality. And globally, in 2022, 62% of men are using the internet, compared to the 57% of women. So closing the gender gap in tech through a project, through your project is very, very interesting to me. However, to close this gender gap in this project that's implemented online might in some way exacerbate the issue that you're hoping to tackle. It would mean that you're confining this to only a few women who have access to systems and have access to internet. And reaching marginalized women might be very, very difficult through this approach. So for me, you also mentioned in your video that you want to work on changing societal perceptions around certain skills or tasks that are not meant for women. Now, again, with if that's a component that you want to tackle, which you should for sustainability of your project, you also need to work on behavioral change by intentionally working with other stakeholders like your parents, like teachers, village elders, and community members through advocacy. And this is, I'm answering your question about what areas you could improve upon. And while there is a lot of value, again, in leveraging online platforms, because you can access different geographies, and it's more economically viable for an organization, I also believe that you should pilot maybe a physical center, which could become a safe space for women and girls to come, maybe after school and learn coding skills. They could build a community and build sisterhood. And also that space has so much more potential to evolve organically, to serve as a space to exchange ideas, information about, say, health or financial resources. Because we can't look at gender gap in tech in isolation. And if we have a more holistic approach to this, the results will be longer lasting. You can also get your volunteer coordinators to manage and monitor the program, and I think that will be very, very helpful, because in my experience, what I have noticed is that mentorship programs are very loosely designed, and its success largely depends on the passion and on the interest of the pair. But if there is a way for you and your organization to monitor these conversations, even from the angle of safety and security and sustainability, I think that would be very, very helpful.
Thank you, Aditi. That is great. And I'm intrigued by a point to focus on addressing the behavior change and also kind of measuring the change in the lives of girls. I know it's a challenging task to kind of measure and kind of feed back in the program design, but I'm sure Joyce and her team will kind of reflect and problem solve so that at least they move in the direction and maybe reach there ultimately in a few years from now. And all the best, Joyce, for your project going forward. Finally, I would like to call on stage the learning and quality manager of our third project, Jacob Brunek, to introduce himself, lead us into the project showcase by the project coordinators, and also put forward your question for Aditi.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Brunek. I'm 33 years old and come from the Czech Republic. And I and my colleagues now would like to introduce you our project, which is called the Czechoslovakian Online Academy. You can listen to projects in the presentation which is following.
Hello, everybody.
We're going to present a mutual project of Czech and Slovak international award organizations, Czechoslovakian Online Academy.
I'm Nadia, I'm 25 years old, and I'm the project coordinator of DFE in Czech Republic.
And my name is Miloš, I'm 34, and I'm national director of DFE in Slovakia. We both put together the methodologies of Online Academy, and Nadia was also a trainer in the project.
When pandemic started, we realized that a lot of young people stopped from being active in our program. We saw decreasing interest and decreasing number of new entrants. The award is happening in non-formal environments, so it was a big challenge to help to our teachers to simulate teaching and mentoring our participants online, to motivate young people to join our program. Every challenge is also an opportunity, so our challenge was clear, to involve in the award as many young people as possible, to teach our volunteers to be more capable and attractive in online environment.
Thankfully, at Online Academy, the award teachers and experienced participants had the opportunity to learn how to work with new online tools, and they were encouraged to share it with their colleagues.
We taught teachers how to use interactive tools like Canva, Jamboard, Padlet, Jisoo tools, and also how to make energizers and icebreakers online to make online education a little bit more fun and interesting. And there you can see the activities and participants of our activities.
We involved 800 Online Academy participants in both countries. We reached more than 6,000 young people, and the project had indirect impact on more than 100,000 people, teachers, students of secondary and elementary schools, and their parents.
In the beginning, it was hard to motivate teachers to join the online workshops. Teachers felt kind of annoyance with online education. Luckily, the pandemic is over and the Online Academy helped them to improve their skills.
International cooperation between Czech and Slovak Republic and Online Academy had a big added value, and actually this project was first out of many. Sharing practice from the field between leaders across schools from different countries is very helpful and important in hard times. We are proud that we helped to hundreds of teachers to teach in pandemic times with greater joy.
Young people are able to react faster on upcoming changes and challenges, and we should support them and create a space for them to do so. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and now it's a time for questions. My question is, how can teachers encourage young people to develop their practical skills?
Thank you so much for that, Jacob. And the first thing that really caught my attention in the VT was how colorful the jam boards were and how beautifully curated the other slides were, visually very, very appealing content. And congratulations on reaching more than 800 online academic participants and your extended impact, of course. You're also training teachers and helping them leverage the digital space in creative, interactive, and innovative ways. You are building their capacities and to improve online recruitment. And that's amazing. And this is something that I resonate with as well. And I come back to what I know best, which is Girl Up. And we've also pivoted during the pandemic to become digital first. We also leveraged our social media to recruit more members and volunteers and impart leadership skills. But since the middle of 2022, COVID protocols have been relaxed in a majority of countries, and we are now navigating a new world. So I keep coming back to this, how do we continue to benefit from this model, and how do we create a strategy to synthesize our learnings and our impact during the pandemic with that of the post-pandemic realities? Perhaps that's something that we all might have to collectively brainstorm upon. But your question about how do we encourage young people to develop practical skills? And firstly, for me, would be to think about what practical skills really mean. It could be, to me personally, it could range from time management to money management to learning how to cook, to learning how to clean, to something like communication or critical thinking or self-control. So while teachers have a very, very great role to play in developing these skills, so do parents. And are we incentivizing and rewarding them, our girls and our boys and our young people to learn these skills? Are we creating a conducive environment for them to learn these skills and giving them really the confidence and opportunities to hone these skills? So teachers can integrate these practical skills in their curriculum to institutionalize it. But at the end of the day, it's a collaborative approach to encourage young people to develop their practical skills. I hope that answers your question, Jacob.
Thank you, Aditi. And I hope that helps Jacob and his team going forward as they kind of pivot and update their projects wherever needed. I think that's the end of all our product showcases. Today, we all saw before us an incredible showcase of some of the most innovative and impactful projects supported by GYM from around the world. I would like to thank these projects, all three of you here, for the passion and the work that you have shared with us today, and also want to congratulate all the other GYM projects for the work that you have been doing, especially for education, instruction, and employability thematic area. Thank you to Aditi as well for being part of this event, and also for bringing your knowledge, expertise, and advice for all of us to benefit from. All the events from today will be available for you to rewatch afterwards. And please do check out our Youth Solutions Showcase for the other three thematic areas as well. Do not forget to kind of share your thoughts and comments on our social media handles on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, before we close, a huge thank you to all of you for joining us today. If you are a young person who's leading change, we hope that you were inspired and encouraged, and you know that we deeply value your support and we deeply value the work that you have been doing in your communities. If you are an ally, we want to make sure that you continue to stay inspired and you are even more determined to invest in the potential of young people. We indeed are unstoppable together. Thank you.